Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Nirmanon, officially doing a post-commentary for you guys today. Before we begin, I'm going to jump into the map and gun loadout, and then I'll get into my main story for you guys. You guys should find the story very interesting, and definitely it'll be something where you leave this commentary going, what did I just listen to? So, without further ado, I'm going to jump into the gun loadout, and then we'll proceed from there. So I'm going to be using the M416 with a red dot and a flash suppressor. I'm also going to be using my pistol known as the MP443 suppressed with a small, a repair tool, and my squad perk is going to be known as cover. With that said, the map I'm going to be playing on is Sin Crossing with 100% tickets on the game type known as Rush. So, I guess without all the introduction stuff out of the way, we are going to get into it, and this is definitely a long commentary for you guys, as you can see by the total length of the bad boy. We're definitely going to be hopefully spending a good amount of time on this, and I'm going to do my best to describe to you guys in grave detail my first time I got pulled over. I can definitely tell you guys, if you're thinking it's going to be something where I'm speeding and I get pulled over, no, this is probably a lot worse, and I'm still surprised I still have my license today. So, overall, with that said, I guess I'll give you guys the main story of it. I'm going to tell it as it is, and hopefully you guys will understand. This has been a while, so a lot of things have changed, I guess, in the best sense. So, I guess here we go. So the first time I got pulled over, this was definitely something that was a surprise to me. You can definitely account that I've never gotten in any kind of trouble in the past. I mean, I've never been face to face with a cop before. You know, I've never had any strikes against my name. I've never stole, theft, any of that crap. So definitely I had no idea going into the situation of what was going to happen. At the time, I actually was like 17, so I was 17 years old when this occurred, and basically what happened was on October 30th, and I can't give you guys the city and all that if you're wondering, just for protection for that very reason, but on September 30th of 2011, I decided to, it was this chick's birthday, you know, so I bought her this extravagant gift and all this, and, you know, you guys maybe wondered what was the gift. Well, I bought her an iPad, so overall, it was a pretty extensive gift. It was something that later, at a later date, would become an issue, just because of her parents thought it was too overpriced, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I still enjoyed her presence, is probably the best terminology for that. At the time, I was pretty much following this chick through years. I basically loved her for like 10 years, so I definitely gave up a lot for this specific user, but at the end date, it was almost 6 months later, we kind of just fell off the charts, and I just didn't really care anymore. So that's probably the best way to describe that, at least for the perspective of a relationship and that standard status. But back to the point. I went over there, you know, got her a gift, you know, she was all happy and, you know, all that stuff. So we hung out a little bit, and her other friend was there, which she's an interesting character, definitely. She's very gorgeous, I guess you would say, in a polite and non-creepy way. But overall, I mean, yeah, she just, you know, we hung out for a little bit. She was all, you know, gittery with the expectation of, you know, the new iPad and all this stuff. So she was playing with that, messing around, doing what she needed to do on an iPad. I mean, there's not a specific amount of information I can give you on what she was doing. But at the time, I also had one too, so we were kind of just messing around and helping her get it set up in a general sense. So with that said, after we hung out for a little while, they asked if I wanted to go to a movie, and I was like, yeah, sure, you know, whatever, I don't have anything better to do. And so we went out, and I don't remember what movie it was. It was something close to Shutter Island. It wasn't that movie, but it had the same feeling to it, and overall the same dynamic of how it started and ended, and it almost looked like a copy, but just different scenery, I guess you could say, in a generalized sense. So after that, you know, we kind of, in a general sense, I guess we kind of raced back home or whatever, or at least I did. I raced back to them, and I don't know if they were really doing it, so, I mean, you kind of see I was 17, so I was a little weird, creepy, I guess you could say, in a general sense. I mean, I was never hanging out somebody's window looking inside or anything, but, you know, I definitely followed this person for quite a while, and, or, I don't mean followed, like, right behind their car. I mean, like, followed, like, mentally and physically, maybe, like, in a dynamic, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it. You guys know what I mean. Like, you love somebody, but they don't have the same feelings back, but you still chase this invisible dream of, hey, something could arise, you know, they could change. Maybe I could pursue them in a different manner, and overall they might change their mind. Yeah, that doesn't work, so usually it doesn't work. But anyway, we were racing back, and, you know, we got there, and basically her car is facing one way, mine's the other one, so we're vertical from each other. And I get this ingenious idea, I don't know from where, but I was like, man, I just watched Fast and Furious the other week, I could totally do this move, I got this. And I floor it in reverse and try to like turn the car around. You're like using momentum. Yeah, that didn't work. I got halfway, so I was pretty pleased. I'm surprised I didn't even look behind me to see if there was a car parked, so I could have like smacked that car going like 50 miles an hour, and it would have been my fault, of course. I would have taken full responsibility for it, but in the same manner, I got this great idea, and after that it didn't work out. I just kind of drove by her house and left because I was like almost ashamed in a manner. I was like, damn it, that did not work out like I thought it was. This is retarded. So I left, and after that, I don't remember a ton, but I was driving around, because this is kind of like almost at the beginning when I got my license. I got my license a little late, I guess you could say. I really didn't jump right on the bandwagon to get my license at 16. So I got it when I was like 17 during the summer. So definitely I did wait, and I totally regret waiting, because driving's awesome. But I was just lazy. I was somebody that wanted to sit at home all day and play video games and, you know, do whatever I wanted to do at 17 years old and 16. But with that said, I presume I drove around for a little bit after that, and then I found myself at the South McDonald's, where, you know, like we have 3 McDonald's in town. So I went there to get something to eat, because at the time I actually worked there, so I could get a discount, and it was alright, I guess. The people there are assholes, at least that I worked with, and if they watch this, I hope they drown in a hole. But anyway, that was a little mean, but I hated them a lot. They were definitely not friendly people, I guess you could put it in that standpoint. I got harassed every day working there, and it was definitely a really boring experience that, it was like whatever. But anyway, back to the main gist of it. I got 50% off on any food items, so basically, like, you know, I got some nuggets and the fries, and I probably spent like $4 or whatever, when that total meal would have been like 8 or something. So overall, it was okay. And then, you know, I hung out there for a little bit and was driving back, and for some reason, I don't know what was going on in my head, but I look over and there's a car just filled with chicks. I think they were in my grade. I mean, they had their windows tinted. It was dark. It was probably like 9 o'clock, 9:30, something like that. And, you know, they were there waving their hands out the window, like tempting this thing on. And I was like, okay, well, I'll play this game. I don't care. So for, I want to say, a half an hour, we just drove around in the middle of nowhere. We'd go through residential, main streets, whatever, okay? So we're driving around, and we're going inside and outside of city limits and doing all this weird stuff. And believe me, at this time, like, I'm still thinking, I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I've never been with anyone next to me that actually wants to do this, that isn't like a coward and drives and tries to get away or anything. Like, legitimately, I thought they were tempting this on. And at one point, we stop in a residential, and I'm like, whatever, I'll just pop out my iPad too and start playing on it until they start going again. Because I didn't, at the time, I'm just like, oh, well, maybe they're dropping somebody off or picking somebody up, or whatever. But at the time, they're calling the police on me, and they're reporting my I guess you'd say my number, my license plate number. And believe me, when I say I really thought they were tempting it on, like, they had their hands outside of the car and waving and doing all this crap, and they were speeding, going through the residential, false signaling, stopping in the middle of the street. I mean, like, at the time, I'm just like, okay, what's going on? You know, like, I'm like, okay, they're just tempting it on. This is just a friendly engagement that 2 parties are partaking in, okay? So, they stop at a residential, as I've stated before, and I'm just playing on my iPad, getting my songs going, you know, whatever, doing all this crap, playing a little bit of Angry Birds, because back then when that was cool. And I mean, I was appalled, I guess you could say, at the end of the result of this. But at the time, they're calling the police, and they start driving off again on the other side of the street, which, I don't know. I mean, if there was a cop there, they would have got some giant tickets. Just because, I mean, well, they probably would have lost their license. I mean, I wasn't doing any of this, really. I mean, if they stopped in the street, I would still go. I just wasn't stopping. I mean, I wasn't going the normal speed limit. So I guess I could get penalized as that as well. But unfortunately, my result was just a little worse. Or more of like a bill, I guess you would say. Anyway, we start going again, and we are heading back onto the main streets and doing whatever. And at the time, I don't know if this was just warning for me, but I totally didn't take it. And what happens is, on the right of me, I see this other guy pulled over by a cop, and I'm like, oh man, I should be going home. Something's gonna happen. Long and behold, something does happen a little later. But I just drive right by my house again, thinking, oh, I'll be fine. Nothing's gonna happen to me. I'm a good driver. Like, honestly, I'm not. I'm gonna be the first one to admit it. I screw around way too much, and, you know, it's just for fun. I mean, whatever. I don't really speed. That's definitely something I don't do, but overall, it was just a weird experience, I guess you could say, that there was somebody pulled over right on the right side of me that was definitely getting interrogated by the police. And later he probably got beat up because they have a tendency to do that. No, I'm joking. But in all good fun, basically what happens is we continue on the main street for a little bit, and they take a left, and I basically switch 2 lanes at once without, you know, like going from one to the other. If any of you guys drive, you know what I'm talking about. You're not supposed to go from one lane, skip over one, and go right to the turning lane. It's illegal. And as a result, I guess the cop saw something I didn't, but overall, that's when I get pulled over, is because I went through a yellow light. It was yellow. He wants to try to tell me it was red. He must have been high or something, because it was clearly yellow when I went through it. And whatever, he turns his little lights on, chases me down a block, and I turn into an automotive parking lot. I mean, it was closed already, so that was good. Otherwise, people would have been staring, and that would have got me pretty nervous, I guess you could say, or more nervous than I already was. So at this time I'm like, fuck, man, I should have just went home, and I'm like regretting even doing this and whatever. And they still keep going on the main street after they turned off, and later basically they get pulled over as well by the same cop, because they're the ones that called me in. So basically, I don't know if they had a communication going with the cops. This is what I don't know. I don't know if they were on the phone trying to direct the cops towards me or whatever. But anyway, we're in the parking lot, and I am just freaking out. Like, I've never been pulled over, and I have no idea what to do. And he comes up to the window and basically smacks with his freaking flashlight the glass, which I was like, okay, so you could have broke the glass while being retarded. But whatever. I mean, everyone's not born with a particular brain, I guess you could say. But anyway, he like smacks the glass like hard. Or at least it sounded hard from in the car, so I rolled the window down, and I'm struggling because my window on the driver's side is a little bit broken. It doesn't want to always go down all the way, so it goes down a little bit at a time, and I'm just like smacking the button like, come on, come on, come on, because this guy's going to get mad and tase me or something. And basically what happens, he's like, why were you following that car? I'm like, oh, I don't know, I was just thrill-seeking or whatever. And he's like, thrill-seeking? I was like, yeah, I was just really bored, and they were tempting it on. They were like, had their hands outside the car, and they were waving and doing all this, so I thought it was just a friendly engagement. And they're like, no, they called the cops on you. I'm like, oh, okay. I was all confused. I'm like, officer, believe me, I take full responsibility for this situation. I probably said this like 10 times to this guy. I don't know if he was just brain deaf or if he just didn't care, but I mean, I said that like 7 to 10 times over and over, like right after each other, and he just was like, yeah, whatever. And his backup, I guess, pulls up, because I mean, me driving this like old car somehow is relatable to this overwhelming situation in which he needed backup or whatever, and I was just like, okay. And anyway, the backup guy comes, and they stand a little bit closer to the automotive shop, and they're just standing over there like you know, kind of talking or whatever, like, what should we do, give this guy a ticket, or, you know, make him go to court? And I'm like, you know, I can't hear any of this, but at the time I'm just like, oh, come on, just give me a warning. I've never done anything wrong in my life, like, come on. And they come back and they draw this citation on it. It has disturbing the peace and negligent driving on it, which is equal to like an $800 fine added together, obviously. Disturbing the peace is just a stupid charge in my eyes, but whatever. Anyway, that's really my story. I mean, I went home right after that. He's like, you need to go home right after this. I'm like, alright. And, I mean, till this day, when I see people that don't get pulled over for not turn signaling or whatever, I'm like, yep, you should have got a citation there. Because, I don't know, I hold these huge grudges overall. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I mean, definitely the thing to take into account is don't follow people even if they are tempting it on. Because as a result, I got the ticket, they got away clean, and I had to go to court, which was awful. Oh my gosh, you just have to sit in these horrible chairs. Like, you can imagine sitting on, like, a bunch of nails. That's basically what it felt like. Like, it was just sitting on a wooden bench, basically. But it had, like, no really incline or anything. It just kind of was, like, I don't know, strict, I guess, on my back, and I hated it a lot, and definitely it sucked. And then when you get up there and they start reading what you did, I'm like, oh my god. We don't need to say it to a room full of like 50 people. I mean, I'm okay if you just say it to me. I mean, it's okay. We can go in a private room. You can be like, yo, do you want to, like, not guilty or guilty? I'm like, I think, if I remember right, I pled non-guilty because I didn't want him to continue to freaking read my list, because that was definitely embarrassing. But now I'm just going to go pay the giant fine. This is actually in 2011 when I tell you guys the story, and it's 2012 now, so this is almost, well, as a commentary, this is actually a year later. So overall, yeah, just don't be stupid, I guess. For all you upcoming drivers, don't pull a me. Even if you know the person, they might backstab you, and then they're going to get away clean, and you're going to be paying these ginormous fines. And it's funny because, I'm sorry, I'm skipping a little bit over now because I'm remembering a lot more information as we go, but I actually know like one of the people in this incident, and there was 4 of them in a car, and they're all girls, I guess. I don't remember hearing anything about a guy, but I do recognize a few of the names, and I was just like, okay. I mean, we don't have any conversations or anything in real life, I guess you could say, and they're in my grade, I guess. I was just like, man, out of all the cars, it had to be somebody I know. And they don't, still to this day, no one's even came up to me and asked anything, so that's probably a good thing. I'm pretty pleased with how that showed up, but man, I just thought you guys would enjoy hearing my first time I got pulled over, because it was definitely an incident where I had no clue I was going to get pulled over, and it was lucky I wasn't speeding, though. I mean, that would have made it even worse. That would have deducted right off my license, because at the time I just got my license, so I only had 2 points, and that negligent driving basically took that away. Disturbing the peace doesn't take away points, but if I would have got a speeding ticket, yeah, as well, yeah, I would have lost my license that day. So, in a sense, I guess I was lucky, but in the same sense, if I would have went home, this would have all been avoided, and we would have just skipped off into the beautiful sunset, and oh, it would have been a great experience, would it not have? But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my story. I do realize that I kind of jumped off and went into random directions towards the end there, but definitely when you get started going on your stories and stuff, you can definitely see a different change in pace when different situations occur. So, as I stated, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Maybe you guys will share your stories in the comments if it was just something like I got pulled over for a mile over in a school district or whatever, because that's something that happened to my cousin, which makes no sense, but whatever. Those cops gotta make money somehow, right? Those tickets all add up to a revenue, of which in turn the city gets, or town, or whatever you're in. And overall, at the end of the day, they're gonna win and we're gonna lose. So that's really, I guess, really all I wanted to talk about. I expected this commentary to go a little longer than expected, but unfortunately it kind of dropped off here towards the end with about a minute left. So I guess I'll just plug my channel real quick. I'm sure in the description bar, guys, there will be an annotation maybe on screen or in the description coming to my channel, a link. Definitely, you guys won't be seeing any kind of creeper stuff anymore from that, because definitely, I don't know. Definitely wasn't something I wanted to share to the world, but, you know, I figured you guys might enjoy. I mean, it was definitely something that I don't see a lot of people making videos about of their first experience, and overall, I think you guys probably got a couple of laughs. I tried to make it entertaining for you, but as I stated before, there will be hopefully a description on screen or in the description bar linking you to my channel. I do Battlefield 3 videos mainly. I'll be doing Black Ops 2 when it arises, and overall, I just enjoy gaming. If you guys want to play with me, for sure hit me up with a friend request, because I'm always willing to play subscribers day in and day out. So, with that said, I'm going to sign off just a little bit early and let you guys enjoy the final results of the gameplay, and this is going to be Nerd Mode On, signing off. Peace.